A critical safety update has just been issued by EASA that every single Dassault Falcon operator needs to be aware of. It's Proposed Airworthiness Directive 25-158. So you're probably wondering, what does this actually mean for your flight operations and your maintenance plan? Well, let's break it all down. We're going to walk through this in 5 clear steps. First up, we'll get right into the why, the real risk that's driving this whole directive. Then we'll figure out if your specific aircraft are on the list. After that, it's all about the nuts and bolts, the actual compliance actions. We'll also take a look at the operational impact and then wrap everything up with a final checklist to make sure you stay on track. So, first things first, let's get right to the heart of the matter. Why was this directive even issued? Well, it all comes down to a potentially unsafe condition in a system where, let's be honest, failure is just not an option. And there it is. That's the bottom line. Word for word, straight from EASA. We are not talking about some minor component issue here. We're talking about the absolute last line of defense in an engine, APU, or cargo fire. A failure here? Well, the consequences could be catastrophic. So, where did this all start? The problem traces back to a quality control issue with the part manufacturer. And listen, this wasn't just a what-if scenario. Defective cartridges were actually found in service on Jet Falcon and Mystère-Falcon 20 aircraft. That turned a potential risk into a very, very real one. Okay, so now that we get this seriousness of the risk, the million-dollar question is, does this apply to you? Let's get really specific about which aircraft and which parts are under the microscope. This directive casts a pretty wide net across these classic Falcon fleets. If you operate any of these models, and I mean any serial number, then this AD is officially on your radar, no exceptions. Now, hold on, it's not just about the aircraft model. The AD really zooms in on what it calls an affected part. This is a very targeted action, not some blanket recall. It's focused on a super precise combination of part number, batch, and manufacturing date. This table right here, this is your single source of truth. It is not enough to just know the part number. You have to cross-reference the specific batch numbers and manufacturing dates. This is exactly where your supply chain and maintenance teams need to be absolutely meticulous, checking everything on the shelf and everything that's already on wing. To make things a little easier, EASA has split the fleet into 2 groups. Group 1 aircraft are the ones that have an affected part installed. Group 2 aircraft do not. It's a simple distinction, but it's absolutely critical because it dictates your immediate workflow and your entire compliance path. All right, this is where the rubber meets the runway. If you've got a Group 1 aircraft, what exactly do you need to do? Let's walk through the required maintenance workflow, step by step. The process is a really clear 4-stage loop. It all kicks off with a mandatory initial inspection. That inspection then starts a cycle of repetitive checks. Now, if you find anything wrong, that part has to be replaced before the aircraft flies again, period. And underneath all of this is a hard deadline for replacing the part entirely. As soon as this AD becomes effective, the clock starts ticking. Your first compliance window for that initial inspection is just 200 flight hours. But what if you have a lower utilization aircraft? Well, there's a calendar backstop, a maximum of 6 months. And here's the key thing you have to remember for your planning. You don't get to choose your deadline. Whichever of those comes up first, the 200 flight hours or the 6 months, that's when your initial inspection is due. It's a hard stop. Now, beyond just inspections, these affected parts have a fixed expiration date. They absolutely must be removed from service before they hit 30 months since installation or 36 months since they were manufactured. And again, it's whichever comes first. This is a critical piece of your long-range maintenance planning. So you're probably asking, how do you stop this 6-month inspection cycle? Good news, there's a way out. It's called the terminating action. Once you replace every single affected part on an airframe with a compliant, serviceable one, you're done. The AD is officially closed out for that aircraft, permanently. Okay, we've covered all the technical details for the folks on the hangar floor. Now, let's shift our focus to the front office. What does this AD really mean for your budget, your schedule, and your fleet's overall readiness? From a management point of view, the impact really breaks down into 3 main areas. You're looking at scheduled aircraft downtime for every single inspection and replacement. You're going to have direct labor costs for your technicians. And of course, there's the material cost of actually sourcing and buying the new compliant parts. When you're planning your response, honestly, the biggest challenge is often going to be parts logistics. Sourcing and verifying you have the correct non-affected cartridges will take the most effort. After that, it's all about smart maintenance scheduling to keep that aircraft on ground time to a minimum, all backed up by a solid budget and, of course, meticulous record keeping. So we've covered the why, the what, and the how. Let's bring this all together with a clear, straightforward game plan to make sure your fleet stays both safe and compliant. Here is your action plan. Step 1. Figure out your exact exposure. Know exactly which parts you have and where they are. Step 2. Get those inspections onto the maintenance schedule right now. Step 3. Build your long-term replacement strategy. Step 4. Make sure your camo, planning, and maintenance teams are talking to each other constantly. And finally, Step 5. Document every single thing you do. Now, while this explainer gives you the big picture, the official documents are where you'll find all the tactical details. For the complete, unabridged instructions, you absolutely must refer to the EASA pad itself and, of course, the corresponding Dassault service bulletins. So we'll leave you with this one question. Understanding the directive is one thing, but having a plan that's documented, scheduled, and communicated to everyone is what really matters. Is your fleet ready? Because at the end of the day, safety is completely non-negotiable.